Sure. Well, just like, I mean, it's all but confirmed. I mean, it is the 11 points clear, 12 points left in the season. Is the mentality now starting to look ahead to what ifs in terms of playoffs, or still game to time?
Same as always. And I think you've heard me say that all year. It's about Sunday. It's about Adelaide United away from home. Tough encounter. They're a good side, and you know, they've had a tough patch. They got a win last week against the Mariners, so we understand, you know, just how tough a test this is going to be. But it's certainly only about Adelaide. We're not looking at anything other than, you know, picking up 3 points and going out there with a mentality to win the game.
In terms of you guys have been scoring goals for fun in the last 3 games, what happens if the first half is goalless? Do you think, is there a plan in terms of the guys not maybe being used to going a half without scoring a goal or not?
It doesn't bother me. It's not a reflection on us at the moment. So in terms of the what ifs, we were 1-0 up after 30 seconds last week, and they had the majority of the game in the first half, Newcastle, and we kept them out. They had a couple of good opportunities to score. So same sort of scenario. You know, we changed it around at half time, and we played a little bit differently tactically, and you saw we were quite ruthless in the second half. We could have had a lot more as well. So all those situations we won't know until it actually happens, or if it happens, and we'll assess them if that's the case as well.
Can you just run us through maybe a few of the potentials at right back to fill in for the Louis Fenton spot, and who you're looking at that? Yeah,
there's quite a few options there, and you know, again, I haven't made a final decision on that one, but you know, we've been working with a few of the players, and I probably won't know myself until game day. We've got this morning to work on it. We've got tomorrow to work on it as well, so we'll make a decision probably on game day.
Is Callum Elliott ready to start?
He's one of the ones that we're working with. Yep.
Is he ready to start, you know?
I've started young players before, so I've got full confidence in all my players, every single one of them in the squad. I've got no issues. If I need to start them, I'll start them.
And how are you keeping kind of Louis involved? Obviously he could be out for the rest of the season, but after the run of injuries he's had, I mean, yeah, how do you make sure he's still kind of... Look, I pulled him aside and I told him it's extremely important, particularly with the injury that he's got, and you know, someone like Louis Fenton, fantastic individual. I want him to be part of it, and just to keep him part of this team, and he's been an integral member of this team as well. You know, he's almost like another coach on the sideline. You know, I want him there to speak to the players who were looking at playing in those positions, to give them, you know, some leadership and some information as well as to exactly how the coach wants that role to be played, because he plays it, you know, obviously, you know, better than most in the league. Even though we play, you know, with the 3 at the back, but you know, he's there to guide those guys and just to give them a lot of information and be like a coach, an extension of myself for them. It means he's part of the team still. He's involved, and he's loving that role as well. And how frustrating is it to have Gully out as well? I mean, he would have been the ideal replacement, I suppose, to come out of the stage.
Yeah, it's looking no different to, you know, the other players that have been out the last few weeks as well. We've had some, you know, some guys that have done extremely well, played a lot of games, who have been out, but it doesn't affect us. I mean, frustration's a word that I don't use all that often, because I could continue to say that everyone's important in this team, and you know, when opportunities come around, you've got to make sure that you're prepared and ready for them. So it's not really frustration. If anything, I look at it as an opportunity. So it's an opportunity for somebody else, and if anything, it just reminds you of the professionalism and the attitude that's required to ensure that we minimise any kind of risks when it comes to injuries.
And why do you think the team hasn't been able to beat Adelaide this season? What about them has made them a tougher opponent?
Look, if you look at that, at the start of the season, we were obviously really in the embryonic stage of our development. So I don't even look at those games at the start of the season. I thought away from home, when we had a 0-0 draw, we'd have players sent off and had to play for 30 minutes. Could have been a totally different game, and had that not been the case. And I thought that was one of the real turning points for us this season. So it's not something that I think about. If anything, there are a lot of situations this year where we've chipped away at creating history, and I expect us to do something similar. I don't look at any team or individual, for argument's sake. Like I said, we've taken 7 out of 9 points off last year's grand finalists at the start of the season. You know, I don't think many would have expected that. So it doesn't really matter about history or who we play, and you know, if we've got a good or bad record, it's irrelevant, because right now we're in an extremely good place.
And Taylor's trained this week. Is he definitely available after not playing last week?
Well, it's a tough one with Tails. You know, it's a tough one. He's had his own program at the start of the week. He'll join in with the team today. You know, he's been training, and like I said, you know, we don't want to take any risks on anyone for that matter. But certainly, we'd like to have him back sooner rather than later.
Just on the youngsters, a couple of them have had a fair few minutes in the last few weeks. Has that made you more confident in terms of your belief in what this team can do going deeper into the season, now that you've seen that?
Yeah, look, I've got a lot of confidence in all my players. You know, and I keep talking to the young players as well. You know, sometimes, you know, they walk into an environment like this and they're not sure themselves, but you know, it's our job as staff members to fill them with a lot of confidence and talk to them about all their, you know, their values and their strong points and all the positive attributes that they've got. At the same time, working on their deficiencies and making sure they're up to standard. So I love working with them. I'm excited to work with them as well. They take everything in. They're fearless. They're like sponges as well. And I told them, there's no pressure on you guys. You guys go out there, and you know, if anything, it's the great unknown. Particularly when, you know, opposition, as we do, analyse every opponent, the player, the way their playing style. You know, teams wouldn't know much about these guys. So for me, it's actually of benefit when you throw some of these guys on, because they don't know too much about them. And for me, there's a lot more positives than negatives.
We're youngsters, with Eastern Suburbs winning the ISPS Hander last Sunday.
Yep.
Why do you think there were no Ole Football Academy alumni at the Phoenix?
A good question. I had a good chat with Declan Edge right at the start of the season. Callum McCow was one that caught my eye, watched him play, wanted to bring him into the environment. But you know, I think Elijah Just was another one as well. There's a lot of good young players that Ole, you know, work with, and I'll give him a lot of credit, because Declan does a great job with the academy. I won't go into detail as to how that conversation went, but certainly from our point of view, we were keen on getting a few of those boys in, but we didn't come to an agreement, unfortunately. But it was great to watch them play throughout the season, and fully deserved. I thought they you know, deserved their victory last week, and good to see a lot of young boys, Danny Hayes playing there as well. At the same time, Team Wellington and Jose has done another fantastic job as well. It's a bit unfortunate on the day the other team showed up, but we've cast our eye over a lot of good young talented kids, and we'd love to have them here, but sometimes it's just not possible.
So given you're playing one of the team's best placed to challenge you for one of the home playoff spots, is there like an air of playoff mentality going into this game?
No, it's another game where we're concentrating on maximising our performance and making sure that we go there with the intent to win, like we have been doing, with a form team in the competition. And like I said, you know, these guys have got their shoulders pinned back, their chests are out, they're loving coming into work, and there's an air of confidence about us as well. So we're just looking at this game and making sure that we get everything right on and off the park to maximise our potential, our performance, and get the 3 points.
And speaking of being one of the most informed teams, like, what do you make of Mark Bothich's comments about saying that you're one of the best teams to watch in the A-League at the moment?
I agree with him. I agree. As a coach, what's there not to agree with? I think we are pleasant on the eye. I think we do play a robust, dynamic style of game, and I've been saying that for a number of weeks now. You know, if you look at the way we've evolved and progressed from the start of the season to now, it's just reward for all the players who have taken, you know, everything on board, and from day one of pre-season to where we are now. And like I said, I can't disagree with him.
Has there been any one point in the season where you've been like, wow, this is such a great team to watch?
There's been quite a few moments this season, and I keep telling them as well. Sometimes I walk in at half time and I tell them that. After a game I might say the same. But there are enough moments, and hopefully you've watched enough games to know that there have been plenty of moments where we've excited fans, be it our fans or even opposition fans. You know, we get you know, a lot of people saying a lot of good things about the way we're playing right now, and it's just reward for all the hard work that, you know, we've done staff-wise, and all the players who have bought into it as well.
And so one of the goals you had when you came here was to take away the stigma of the Phoenix in Australia. Do you think you've done that? Do you think you've got much to go, and how do you go about
I don't know. You know, again, I don't watch many TV shows. I'm not too sure about people's opinions. If someone wants to, I might hear it in the coach's room if something happens, but I'll let other people decide if that's the case. All I can do is concentrate on this football club and making sure that we're the best we can be.
As well as scoring the goals up front, how crucial the form of Philip Courteau be this time of the season and potentially into the playoffs as well?
It's been crucial all year. You know, it's why I decided to go with a visa goalkeeper. You know, people probably question it at the time, but he's been one of the standout goalkeepers, if not, you know, the best goalkeeper in the A-League. And if he's not, you know, I'm not too sure I know much about the game. But he's no different to any other player in the team. You know, be it 1 through to 11, or even, you know, 12 through to 17 or 16, and the other guys as well. Every single player is important here.
So as one of the best shot stoppers in the league, how big a loss would it be if he were to move across to the...
like I said, he's playing against Adelaide, he's starting against Adelaide, and all that matters for us is the now. And we are concentrating on being in the now. That's all we care about. But thank you for your question, Julie.
Are you happy with the crowds?
I've challenged them. I've challenged not our faithful fans, because they're out there week in, week out. It's everybody else, you know, who I'd love to get on board, you know, irrespective of what code you follow. I think the Phoenix, well, I know we're doing something special, and you can feel it. You feel it in here every morning that you walk into the dressing room, hopefully out in the streets, out in the public when I go out there for a coffee. You know, there's a lot of people that come out and say, you know, well done, good stuff, and there's a good vibe there. So, like I said, I challenged them after the game against Newcastle that we'd love to get at least 15. You know, that's the challenge. Courtney's got a lot of work to do, the people in the office as well, to make sure that we can try and get that to happen. There's a lot of different things that we as a club can do as well to ensure that, and maybe force the hand of something, but you know, they're the smart ones in there that know the answers, not me. But it'd be great to get a massive last regular season home crowd against Melbourne City. All we can do is concentrate on Adelaide and make sure that while we're away from home, that we continue this momentum.
So come on, Wellington, eh?
Absolutely, absolutely.